Hey, hey, how you guys doing? I'm early today. Why? Because I'm going to try to get to sleep a little bit earlier today. And I'm going to tell you why I feel so uber accomplished right now. I think it's like 6:30, a little bit after 6:30. I feel so accomplished right now because I went to the store. I got stuff to make dinner. I cooked dinner for the second day in a row. What? And it's done. The kids are getting ready to sit down and eat. And how many steps did I get? Well, I'm not going to tell you the steps because I'm not proud of those right now. Today was a very office heavy day, so I am not close to my 10,000 steps. I've been trying to do 10,000 steps, but she's not even close to them right now. I'm gonna have to run around or whatever. Yeah, right now I'm at 33,992. Y'all, it's hard to get 10,000 steps, I've realized, especially if you have the type of job where you're sitting at a desk. And like I said, today was definitely an office heavy day. I've been designing logos and flyers and books, and it has been a heavy client day for me. So I haven't been able to get up and walk around, but I'm excited. I'm gonna be talking to you today about the 3 ways that I've really been trying to handle criticism better. In the past, I've not been a good person of handling criticism. So I kind of put this in place for myself because, you know, over the past couple of months, I've been dealing with a lot of judgment, like in your face judgment, where people are just saying what they think. And I've been having to, you know, figure out how to deal with it. You guys know I have problems with being ashy, and I should have checked to make sure that I wasn't ashy before I got on here. But I just feel dry right now. So, I'm sorry. Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Tina. Hi, T. How are you guys doing? That's who I'm seeing on here so far. I do see more people. Your name hasn't popped up yet, so I'm sorry. But yeah, sorry, guys. I should have definitely done this before. I want to tell you guys, while I'm going to give it probably another 60 seconds. While I'm waiting for people to come on, I want to tell you about this amazing book that I have started reading. I think the camera on these lives, I think it automatically flips everything, so you may not be able to read it. But this is called Angel Armies, and it's by Tim Sheets. And so it's Angel Armies Releasing the Warriors of Heaven. Listen, you need to get this, okay? This book is all about, you know, discovering angels, how we are able to partner with them, how they are there, you know, just really understanding the role. It's a really good book. I got it off of Amazon, and I'm one of those Prime people because I don't like waiting. But so yeah, I'm one of the Prime people, and yeah, I picked it up off of Amazon. It came here in, I think it was like 24 hours, but definitely Angel Armies. It's definitely a worthy read. They also have it on Kindle, but when it comes to books like this, like sometimes you just, I'm a nerd. I just have to hold a book sometimes. So that's something that is on my reading list. Hi, Patricia. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. If this is your first time joining me, you've probably already seen that I'm not very conventional. You're probably like, this girl is totally wacky. And I am. And I've become comfortable in my wackiness, in my weirdness, whatever people want to call it. I've become comfortable with that. But I am Tamika Hall from TamikaHall.com. There, if you go there, you'll be able to see that God has blessed me to be able to do everything that my heart has ever desired. I am a gospel recording artist. I'm a worship leader first. At the core of it all, I'm a worship leader who happens to be able to write, and God gives me the ability to be able to record the songs that I write, which is just amazing. But I am also the owner and CEO of Tamika Inc., which is an enterprise that is comprised of a design firm. So we work with faith-based authors all over the world to help them get their books from manuscript all the way to book. We also have a radio station, I Worship 96 FM radio. You can find that at www.iworship96.com, where we play the best in gospel and Christian music 24/7. And then it is also home to the Tamika Inc. collection, where you can find lovely apparel. And just a couple weeks ago, I released my greeting card line, so that's something I'm really proud of too. So that's just a little bit about me. Again, you can find all of that by going to TamikaHall.com, and you'll be able to see just everything that I'm doing. So I made the commitment to do these lives every single day. Hi, Stephen, how are you? I don't know if you, yes, how are you guys doing? Stephen or Cheryl, I'm not sure which one is on here, but thank you so much for being here. So I wanted to talk to you about the 3 ways that I'm really learning to handle criticism. For anybody that's getting ready to build a business, God is pushing you into a ministry that puts you in front of other people, you're going to deal with judgment. So anytime you're in front of people, you will deal with judgment. I don't care what it is. And so because it is something that is going to happen, it is important to understand how to deal with it. You know, like let's just be honest about that. You're going to have to deal with it. So at the end of the day, we can't control what other people do, but we can control what we do and how we walk away from a situation. If you have not yet, please go ahead and share this out with somebody that you think would really be blessed by this fresh word. And like I said, I'm really not going to be on here very long because I've been doing everything so efficient today. I am excited about that. Okay, so the way that I deal with criticism, the first thing that I do is I take in what is being said. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about me. I am one of those people who I would always handle criticism one of 2 ways. I would either be very angry about it and I would walk away from the situation, not saying anything. Hi, Carla. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Or in Maryland, we say Cheryl. Like, they don't say Cheryl. I say Cheryl, but everybody criticizes me for saying Cheryl because everybody in Maryland says Cheryl. So I don't know where you're from, but if you're from Maryland, everybody's saying Cheryl. So I would handle it one of 2 ways. I would either not say anything. I would walk away from the situation angry. You know, I would be mad about whatever was said to me, or I would fly off the handle and I would just go off. Both of the reasons why that would happen. Hi, Robert. How are you doing? Both of the reasons why that would happen is because I really wouldn't be listening to what was being said to me. And so I think it's important to take in what's being said. One of the things I've really come to learn is that just because somebody says something to you or they ask you to do something or what have you, you don't have to respond immediately. Hi, Ebony. How are you? See, I used to think that whether it was in business, you know, like if somebody asked me something in business or whatever it was, I always felt like in order to come across as very intelligent, very much up on my game, I always felt like I had to respond very quickly, right? And there is danger in doing things like that because number one, in this particular case, you got to take in what's being said to you. And so when you take that in, the reason why you're taking it in is because number one, you got to figure out, is it constructive? Like what they're saying, I'm sorry, one moment. I have to step into mommy mode. Amari, yes? I need you to be quiet. I need you to be quiet. Listen. Honey, see, she didn't take in what I was saying. I told her several times to be quiet, didn't I? She didn't take it in. So I had to blast her in front of the whole world. I promise I'm a good mom. I even checked homework this afternoon. Anyway, so like I was saying, it's really important to take in what's being said because you have to figure out if it's being constructive. Tina says, this is so great once again. Oh, awesome. I tell my girls the same thing. Absolutely. If it's coming from a place where somebody really does love you and they're saying something out of love, then if you fly off at the handle, you really can ruin a relationship, right? You can ruin a relationship. You can harm somebody. And then on the other end of it, if somebody is saying something to you, no matter who it's coming from, and they're saying something to you in a nasty way meant to cut you, you need to be able to evaluate that as well. So I've learned to, if I don't understand, hi Auntie, how are you? LaTanya Boyd's in the house. I've learned that if somebody has said something to me and I can't really wrap my mind around what's being said or how it's being said immediately, I've learned to say, I need a moment to process this. And it's okay to take the moment. Like I said, I used to feel like, I used to think it was wrong for me to take the moment, but it's okay for you to take the moment. Take it in and assess what is being said to you, how it's being said. So the second thing is you need to check the value, right? Check the value of what is being said to you. So I've already kind of mentioned, is it constructive? Is it meant to harm you, right? So if it's constructive, let's be real. Constructive criticism is presented, and if there's some merit behind it, it will make us better, right? So last night I talked about the three things, not the three things, but three things that killed my business. Oh, awesome. Ebony says that's good. I talked about three things that killed my first 9 businesses. If this is your first time joining me, I've been very open about the fact that my very first 9 businesses over a 10-year span failed, right? So last night I talked about three of the reasons why it failed. And one of the things was because I was not good with communication. And it took somebody saying to me, you need to communicate better. Now, mind you, I had multiple people saying that stuff to me. You need to be more upfront. You need to communicate. When somebody calls you, you need to answer the phone. You need to respond to emails. I've been told that several times over the years, but finally somebody said it to me with love, and I heard it. And it made me better. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did not take it the right way at first. I flew off at the handle. But luckily, the person loves me and wanted me to succeed, right? And so she continued to say, listen, I'm not saying it to hurt you. I'm not criticizing you. What I'm saying is you're good at what you do. But if you don't communicate, nobody's going to want to utilize your services. So when I heard that, it changed the way I do business. Like a 360 turnaround immediately, right? Oh, Tina says, I missed you last night. Oh, it's still on here. It's still on here. You can find it. So is it constructive? If it's truly constructive, it will make you better, right? You need to check. I don't know what I wrote here, right? Because I had to write something down. But is it a backhanded compliment? Or, are they being criticizing? Are they being critical of you because they're trying to hurt you, right? You need to determine if that's what's happening. Because sometimes, I've had people do that all the time. Girl, y'all sounded good, but I wish you would sing some new songs because the praise team needs some new music, right? I mean, and the way that it was said, it was very biting. It was very cutting. It was very hurtful the way that it was said, okay? And then finally, when you're checking the value, check the source. Like, let's just be honest. Who is it coming from? And I'm not saying that you should only accept criticism from people who have the credentials to give it to you. But in some ways you do. It depends on what's being said. Hey, Latia, how are you? So for example, I get a lot of authors, right? I'm so blessed to work with authors. I have one of the best jobs on the planet, right? And I work with authors, and oftentimes it's like, I don't know, maybe 1 out of every 20 authors that I work with, I'll have an author who's excited about his or her book. We get it all published, and then the next thing I know, the author is coming to me and they're upset about what they wrote, and I always know what it is, and I'll say, who's been talking to you? And it always ends up being somebody that was giving them constructive criticism about what they wrote, how they said it, what they should have said, how they should have written it. Hi, G-Day, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me. And so then I always have to bring them back to reality and say, okay, has this person written their own book? No. Have they published their own book? No. Do they even read books? Not that we would like to read. Then how can they give you criticism that is of major value if they've never written a book? Do you get what I'm saying? And now again, there are times where people will say something to you, and like God just gives some people wisdom, and some people just have the gift of knowledge and things like that. That's why I'm saying check the source, because sometimes there are going to be people who maybe don't have all, they don't have all the credentials that you have, but they're giving you a little bit of something. But listen, there's something to be said about somebody who knows what they're talking about. Do you get what I'm saying? Thank you so much, Carla. Carla gave me a bunch of smiley faces, honey. You just blessed my soul. You know what I mean? There's something to be said about somebody who has, where it has value. You're going to find people, if you're a singer, there's going to be people that tell you that they don't like the way that you sing. You have to check the value of that. Check the source. You'll have people that tell you how to sing. Are they a vocal coach? Do they sing? And if they do, let's be honest. Are they good at it? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're a musician and somebody's talking to you about how you play, can they play? And can they play to the level where you feel like you can take the constructive criticism? Do you get what I'm saying? I think we can always better ourselves. Oh, amen, Ebony. I'm so happy about that. So I think that it's important to check the source. Okay? Check the source, right? So again, the very first thing is take in what is being said. And if you cannot quickly evaluate how you feel about it, take your time with that. You do not have to respond immediately. I don't care if somebody tries to bully you into responding. You do not have to respond. You can continue to say to them, I need to process, and I choose not to respond right now. I will say that to people now. I'll say that. I'm not going to respond to that right now. And if the person keeps on trying to push me, I will walk away from the situation. I might even say, I'm getting ready to hang up now. I will do that, right? And I try to do that before I get to the level where I'm screaming. Like I said, Tamika is not perfect. But this is what I have been trying to do to, number one, like if you're especially if you're building something, you're building a business, you're building a ministry, you're building a brand, you have to make sure that you're protecting that. You don't want to have a bad reputation. Everybody that gives you criticism is not going to have a personal relationship with you. So if you spit off at them or you start screaming at them and you hurt them, you could possibly damage your brand, your ministry, your business. Do you get what I'm saying? Everybody's not going to love you and accept it when you say that you're sorry. Even the people who do love you, you don't want to wound them so badly that you guys cannot repair the relationship. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's that. And then number three, you have to determine how are you going to deal with it right now. So again, I've already said to you, you don't have to deal with it right now. If you don't know how you want to deal with it, then you can absolutely say, I need a process. I need a moment. I need to call you back. We need to continue this later. Sometimes, you can actually take it in and say, I appreciate what you've said to me. I'm going to take that into consideration. I mean, because there have been times people have said something to me, and let's be real, nobody likes getting criticized. I mean, they don't. Now, I will tell you, and people who know me, there's only a few people, and it's like one, maybe two and a half, who really can come to me all the time with criticism. Depending on what areas. Like, for example, for my music, I don't let everybody talk to me about my vocals. I don't let everybody talk to me about my songwriting. I don't do that because I don't trust everybody to do that in a loving way. Do you get what I'm saying? So if somebody comes to me with something, especially those people that are trusted and they know who they are, if they come to me about something, I listen to what they say. And usually I can accept it very quickly. If it's something where I don't agree with it, I will say, well, I don't agree with that. It's okay for you to not agree with something. I mean, I went through this period where I was always thanking people for their criticism, whether I agreed with it or not. Listen, if I don't agree with what you're saying to me, I don't have to accept that. I don't have to take ownership of what you just spoke into my life. Hi, Zakia, how are you? So, I really think that words have power. My bishop always says words matter, and I believe that they matter. Hi, Akita, how are you? So if somebody says something to you, they're speaking something to you, they're giving you some type of criticism, and they're trying to package it up and say that it is constructive, you do not have to take ownership of what is being said if you do not agree with it. Don't accept that. And you don't have to, and I'm going to tell you, this is especially for women. Men, I'm not being sexist, but I'm just saying, especially for women, we're taught to be polite, right? We're taught we're not supposed to be very loud. We're not supposed to be very mouthy. We are taught all of those things. So sometimes people, they will say whatever they want to us, and we're afraid of hurting their feelings. So again, we take ownership of what's been said, even though it may have hurt us or it wounded us. We don't agree with it. It tore us down. There was nothing constructive about it. But listen, I don't care that I am a woman anymore. I mean, I care. But I'm just saying, if you come to me with something and I do not agree with it, I'm going to tell you that I do not agree with it. There's a way to say that you don't agree with it without being nasty. Latanya says, I also think being approachable. I think being approachable is important. I think it's definitely important. But I will tell you, and this may be something where God needs to work on me, I will evaluate it. Hi, Kenya. I am a very approachable person. However, I do not allow everybody to speak into my life. I just don't. I don't allow everybody to come to me with their constructive criticism. And I don't do that. And you know, I start immediately when somebody comes, they always come because they want to have a prophet look or something like that. I'm just like, they come to you like this. I'm assessing, I'm paying attention because I don't know if I want to accept what you're saying. You know what I mean? But I do think being approachable is good. And being approachable, especially with people that you love and care about and they care for you and you know that they have your best interests at heart, I definitely think it's important to be approachable because the folks that are on my team and we don't have to be blood for me to call them family. They know exactly who they are. So they know I want to be the very best that I can be. So my thing is for them, it's like, listen, if you see me doing something that is jacked up, that's going to hurt where I'm trying to go in life, I need you to stop that train and I need you to let me know. Thank you guys so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. I want them to stop that train, right? So determine how you're going to deal with it. Again, if you don't want to deal with it right then, you can say, I need to process. I need a moment. I will get back to you on that. You can let people know, I don't agree with what you're saying. Those are some of the decisions that you can make, but you do have to make a decision about the criticism. Honestly, if you say nothing, if you choose not to respond at all, it's still a decision that you've made. Do you get what I'm saying? It's still a decision. So those are just some of the ways that I am really learning to deal with criticism better. And I'm going to tell you the main one is, well, actually they're all the main thing because, and I'll tell you this, I really started kind of trying to adopt this system a couple of months ago when I released my book, Smarty Puffs. And I don't know, you guys might have seen that live. It's been a couple of months now, but I released my, a bilingual book for little girls called Smarty Puffs, right? And this woman went on there and ripped me to shreds. Like, she talked about how she hated the book. She talked about how she wanted her money back. I mean, she ripped me to shreds. And I had to do these very things. And I ended up speaking to somebody. I talked to Latanya Boyd. I called up Auntie. I was devastated. I mean, like, I think I was probably crying. I think. It's been a couple months, but I think so. But I was devastated initially. And then, but then I had to take these things into account. Okay, what is this woman saying to me? Does it hold any value? Hi, Sharon. Does it hold any value? Is there something that I should be doing differently? And I responded. So I dealt with it. I chose to respond, and I educated the person who chose to rip me and my book apart. And it did not stop the sales, thank God. I mean, because I was tripping. I was like, oh my gosh, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this book and she ripped it to shreds. There were people that went on there and they were like, this book is amazing. And all those things like that. So when you're dealing with criticism, here are 3 things that you can do. Take into account what is being said to you. And again, you do not have to respond right away. Like I said, that sometimes, it still is. Sometimes is my vice. It's sometimes a problem for me because I feel like I have to respond right away. And I have to remind myself, me taking a moment to breathe does not mean that I'm any less intelligent. It does not mean any of those things. But sometimes I have to take in what is being said to me, right? Number 2, check the value. Hi, Joy, how are you? By checking the value, is it constructive? Is the person saying something to me in love that's going to make me better? Is it a backhanded compliment, right? And check the source. Does this person hold any credibility to say anything to me at all? And again, there are times when there are people who don't necessarily have the credentials to tell you how to do something, who they give you good advice. Like, for example, because Joy jumped on here, y'all, Joy is hands down an amazing makeup artist. But Joy, I'm sure that there are people who don't know how to wear makeup at all, don't even know how to put on liquid eyeliner, who try to tell you how to put makeup on somebody's face. And if somebody were to criticize Joy, I'm sure at some point you have to take into account, Joy, who is the source? Like, do you even wear makeup? Oh, she said, why is it so on time? I'm just saying, like, I can only imagine because, you know, like I said, guys, Joy is a makeup artist and she travels. I mean, she's one of those people that are in demand, you know? So I'm sure, remember what I said, you guys, from the very beginning, when God is elevating you in business, in ministry, especially when he puts you on Front Street, in terms of you being in front of people, where you're impacting people, whether it's with the services that you provide, whatever it is, you're going to be the subject of judgment and criticism. And so, like I said, that for me, because I saw her jump on here, that was easy for me to talk about. Because again, how can you criticize somebody's makeup technique if you don't even know how to wear it? You can always say if it's something that you like or you don't like, I guess, but can you really offer constructive criticism if you don't understand what highlighter is, or you don't understand how to contour, or you get what I'm saying? So check the source, y'all. Stop letting people hurt your feelings to the point where you walk away and you feel like you don't ever want to do it again, because that's the enemy. That's what he wants to do. You know, that is exactly what he wants us to do, is he uses people, and it's sometimes the closest people to you. I mean, you know, we've all heard it before. We say it to each other. He uses other people to attack our self-esteem. And I don't know why I've been harping on that for the past couple of days, but I just feel like God really just kind of opened my eyes to that. The enemy plays on the things that we are self-conscious about, because the things that you are very comfortable in, he can't really attack you there. Kenya says, yes, that is so true. A lot of people think they're an expert or can do something better when in reality they have no clue. I mean, it's the truth. So check the source. You're not conceited. You're not being arrogant. You're not being above yourself. If you're saying, let me check the source here. And you know what, guys? Here's the thing. Oh, Joy says, I really need this. Well, amen, Joy. I'm so glad that this came right on time. This is what I do. Oftentimes, I will check the source. I'll do all these things. I'll check the source, and then I'll say, okay. Like for me, at that moment, you guys ever have that moment where you're able to brush it off? But then it's like it keeps on eating at you. Listen, throw that thing down. You get what I'm saying? Like, toss it aside. We're not going to think about it anymore. The moment that you check the source, you check the value, and you realize that it doesn't hold any value, figure out how to make that thing leave your mental space. You know what I mean? And if it enters back into your space, I'm not going to think about that, because you don't hold any merit here. You get what I'm saying? So the enemy will just keep on pushing you and pushing your buttons on that thing. Listen, we are moguls here. Okay, honey? We're trying to make millions here. I mean, am I the only person who wants to walk away this year having made 6 figures this year? Do you get what I'm saying? There is going to be people that are going to be criticizing you everywhere that you turn. And it's not going to hold merit. I promise you it's not. Everything that's said to you is not even going to mean a hill of beans to you. So if it doesn't mean anything, if it's not taking money off of your table, if it's not helping you feed your kids, walk away from that thing and be okay with it. You got what I'm saying? As LaTanya says, you get what I'm putting down? Hello, somebody, right? And then finally, number 3 is have a game plan. Decide how you're going to deal with it. And like I said, you know, sometimes you really don't have to say anything at all. Sometimes you do need to educate people. And sometimes it's a matter of you walking away and trying to decide how you're going to handle it. But however you handle it, make sure, especially if you're processing it, make sure that you'll be able to sleep well, knowing that you handled it the proper way, right? You know, like I said, I'm not perfect, and I don't always handle criticism perfectly, but this is what I'm trying to do. And I'll say, even recently, there have been times where somebody has said something to me, and I responded quickly. You know, LaTanya, as I was talking to her and telling her I was going to talk about this tonight, she immediately, he said, am I taking an offering? Honey, go ahead and send it through PayPal. Yes. LaTanya brought up the scripture, Isaiah 1:19, which says, be quick to listen and slow to speak. And I love LaTanya, because she is just like, she reminds me of my father, in that she's just that walking biblical resource, right? And so if the Bible tells us to be quick to listen and then slow to speak, you know, I think that holds weight in so many different ways. So quick to listen. Okay, I'm hearing what you're saying. But if you're speaking, you can't, I mean, especially me, at least I can only speak for myself. You really can't actively speak and listen at the exact same time. Like, when I'm yelling at somebody, because if you hit that nerve, I'm telling you, I get loud very quickly. That's why I'm like, I have to handle things better. So I'll get loud really quick. I'm not hearing everything that the person is saying to me. And, you know, some people can deal with somebody yelling. Some people can't. And you literally can wound somebody with what you say. And I will tell you, I would rather, and this is going to sound so selfish, right? I would rather handle it the right way than have to turn around and apologize for how I dealt with it. Oh my gosh, right? That may seem so immature, but I really would. Like, I would rather take my time, process what's being said, say what I need to say, and be okay with what I said and even how I said it, than for me to turn around and be like, I'm sorry I was screaming at you. I mean, even if the reason why you were yelling at somebody was warranted, I would so much, I hate having to be like, I'm sorry I was yelling at you. You know, because then, like, I mean, let's just be real. When you start screaming at people and stuff like that, and you're like, I'm sorry I was yelling at you, well, then now you're taking, like, equal responsibility for stuff. You know what I mean? Joy says, I just go off. Joy is funny. Listen, I know. I'm trying not to get there. I'm trying. Hey, cousin. My cousin's on here. How you doing, Daryl? D, what up? Yeah, so, it just makes sense to just handle it differently and just to understand. I just want to encourage you guys and empower you, because I know that I have entrepreneurs that are either in the making, you're deciding what you're going to do. I have people that are getting ready to launch ministry, or you're actively in ministry. Listen, the criticism is going to come. And it's hurtful when it happens. You know what I mean? Like, there comes a time when you're able to shut that stuff off. Like, for example, I have a YouTube channel, and you know, I used to wonder what am I going to do when somebody starts saying something really nasty to me on YouTube, or somebody leaves a nasty comment on my Instagram. And I have found I've really been able to ignore the comments, because I can delete them if I want to. I am the admin of that. You know what I mean? So if I take that same philosophy into life, you can delete what somebody is saying to you, because you don't have to continue to listen to it. If you've checked it and you're like, I checked the source, this is not constructive, you're saying this to hurt me. Like, the quickest way to cut somebody down is to tell them exactly what they're doing. Listen, I see what you're doing right now. This is not constructive. You are not saying this out of love. You're saying this in malice. You're saying this to hurt me, and I choose not to listen. That is you physically pushing the delete button. You know what I mean? So when people leave a negative comment on one of my videos, or on one of my Instagram posts, or they send me a DM, you know, a direct message. I'm gonna tell you guys, like 2 weeks ago, I had this body scrub. I just bought this body scrub from Symphony Body Products. It's handcrafted bath and body products by Pastor Sybil Bull. She is amazing. I'm telling you, I love this stuff. And I don't have it down here because it's up there by the bathtub. But I had on some workout wear because I had just finished using it, and I wanted to immediately tell people how much I loved it. And I literally had somebody inbox me, and they went off on me, and they were like, what are you wearing? You're a woman of God. How could you put that on? And for a split second, I was like, I wasn't wearing anything revealing. It was a tank top. I had on some shorts, and the way that I had the camera angled, I mean, you could see my thigh, but I was completely covered. So I asked somebody, hey, is this too revealing? And the person was like, nah, what are you talking about? And I pushed the delete button, and I didn't allow that to hurt my feelings. Tina says, I'm with you on that, Joy. Latanya says, God will chasten those he loves. He absolutely will. He will. So like I said, I mean, with that being said, it's important to definitely check, you know, how it's being said, why somebody's saying something to you, and if there's any value to it. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I love you guys. Follow me on TamikaHall.com. You'll be able to see everything that I'm doing. Joy, thank you so much for joining me today. You amazing makeup artist, you. Love you so much. And Latanya, I think, is getting ready to do a live at probably about 7:15. Author Latanya Boyd, just really quickly to let you know who she is. She's my publicist. She's a faith-based publicist. She works with faith-based authors, entrepreneurs to get you, like, honestly, international exposure. And so she'll be coming on at about 7:15. So if you see her profile right there, make sure that you become friends with her and all that good stuff so that you can watch. And of course, I'll be sharing it as well so that you'll be able to watch that too. So I love you guys. Remember, you were created to make God famous. All of us, listen, our haters make us famous, don't they? They sure do. They sure do. Oh, look, my shirt says, I agree with myself. Listen, when the next time somebody comes to you to give you some constructive criticism and you decide that it's not constructive, I agree with myself, right? Remember, y'all, you were created to make God oh so famous. I love you guys. Have a blessed night.